Gotta say good evening to one and all. Got it logged on to the Tuesday evening Chatbout talk show. So glad to be back here another Tuesday, where we can talk, debate, discuss, enlighten, encourage, inspire, and hopefully a whole lot more right here on the Chatbout talk show. Hopefully you all are well, and hopefully your week has started well, and we're going to have a great show this evening. Definitely share the links as far and wide as you can, and let us just get the show on the road. Let me check to see if my co-hosts are here. Let me just press a few buttons and see where we can go with this. Pastor Uriah, are you there?
Bless you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
Bless you, everyone. Bless you, everyone. Lovely to be here with you. Beaming in from Staffordshire. I'm on a ministers' conference, so I'm just chilling here in the room. So wonderful to be with you. Bless you all.
Nice one. God bless you, sir. Let's just check if our brother Josh is there. Hi, brother Josh. You there?
Hey, how you doing, Brother Charles, Pastor Owen? I'm here.
Praise the Lord.
In living colour.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Pleasant good evening to each and everyone online who's tuned in, and hopefully we will. Well, not hopefully, we will have a great show.
Amen.
Tonight.
Amen. So we are live. We are live and we're up and running. The phone lines already started. I don't know if somebody's eager to contribute this evening, but I'm looking forward to a great show, and I trust you all will be as well. Got a few technical things to do as well. So maybe you Josh, when he said Joshua, Pastor Owen, you can have a little natter amongst yourself about the topic. Let everyone know what it is, and then we will dive straight into it. How about that?
Wonderful. Well, tonight we will be continuing our discussion on Christian dating websites. We had a wonderful discussion last week talking about whether Christian dating websites are a safe place to meet one's spouse, one's potential life partner. We had some wonderful contributors to last week's discussion. We had Sister Lily, who gave her shared her experiences as it relates to online dating, which was not so pleasant. While on the other hand, we had I think it was Sister Sandra. Was it Sandra?
Sandra and her husband Colin, yeah, absolutely. Yes,
who called in and shared their experience. They actually met on a dating website.
Yeah.
So we're continuing our discussion because we know that a lot of people didn't actually have the opportunity to share their points of view on this particular subject because the show was so packed. Oh yeah, let me not forget Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Sarah, most importantly, last week,
who also gave her input and shared what she actually does and the process that she follows in terms of connecting people Christian dating websites. So we want to also remember her and thank her for her input. But yes, a lot of people didn't get an opportunity to contribute to last week's show. And I know that so many people out there have things to say.
Yeah.
Some people who did manage to call in were somewhat against it, while I'm sure there might be others out there who may say, well, when I also met my husband or wife on a Christian dating website, and maybe they might be able to give some more tips or advice, etc. So hopefully we will have a more in-depth conversation, and the lines are going to be open quite quickly, so people will have the chance to have their say. So I don't know if Pastor Owen wants to say anything or add to that.
Yeah. Pastor Owen?
No, I just say I agree with Joshua. Who said everything really. Just thanks to Dr. Sarah for coming along and being part of the show. I'm just wondering, will she be part of the show tonight, or will she be adding to the show tonight?
We haven't discussed that for her to come on, but if she is listening, she's always welcome.
Okay,
always welcome.
Yeah, she's very, very good. It was a great show last week, and we did have two sides to the coin, as Minister Joshua said. I think we found some of them that were in favour, that had some success. but we were very sensitive and mindful of those that didn't have a great experience.
That's right.
And also wanted to add into the flavor of some experiences that they'd had. So we was trying to be very sensitive at the same time, and also remembering just for the show that we are not psychotherapists or experts in this area. I certainly don't know much about anything about online dating, but we know about people, and we just want to be here to support, really. That's what made the show good for me last week. And I just want to add that some of the people that I invited, they said it was a positive show as well. They enjoyed it too.
Wonderful.
And promised me they were listening tonight. So, and that's from up here in Birmingham. So bless you.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
One of the things I would also like to add, Brother Charles, is that I did receive some feedback.
Yeah.
In terms of, what would I say, someone who was actually listening in to the show, who was extremely blessed.
Praise the Lord.
By the things that was shared, the things that was discussed. So I know that we are doing we're obviously making good ground and causing people to think about what they are actually doing.
Yeah.
As it relates to online Christian dating websites. I think it's important that we, encourage people to be, what would I say, to exercise the gift of discernment, to be prayerful, maybe inform someone when you're going to go and meet someone. This whole idea of, I was having some discussions, because it's interesting that a lot of people sometimes don't call in, but after the show you get messages and then you end up having conversations with people outside of the show.
Yeah.
And the things that they actually share with you, for some of the things that were shared with me, is that sometimes, I think one of the sisters who called in last week was saying that there was a gentleman who wanted to come to our house at a particular time.
Nearly midnight.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of that actually happens based on some of the conversations I had after last week's show.
Yeah.
Is that, sometimes people are making decisions to just meet someone online and invite them straight to their place of residence, which I don't think
it's
that's
not a good
wise
look. Not a good
at all. You don't know this person, you've never met them. You can have a and the thing is, we know that with any online dating website, a person can be who they want to be.
Absolutely.
They can say that I'm this, they can say that I'm that, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we have to use wisdom, that we are not just inviting people to our property.
Yeah.
That we just don't know. I just think that's just it's just crazy. The person could be a murderer. It could be anyone.
Absolutely.
So yes, hopefully we will continue our discussion. So if you want to, I don't know what you want to do now, Brother Charles. Maybe you want to open the line.
Okay. Let's just let everyone know again. We done the show last week. Had a great response. It was. We didn't envisage it to go into part 2, but definitely we're talking about, are Christian dating websites a safe place to find your potential husband or wife, potential spouse? Are Christian dating websites a safe place to find your potential husband or wife? That was the question we asked. Just let you know, before we go any further, before we open the phone lines, give you all the contact details, we now have a dedicated YouTube channel. So we would love for you to get involved on that over there as well. Please do get involved on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. It is purely for the Chatbout Talk Show. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel and share the link as well, because so many people only listen via YouTube, and we want to utilize that platform wisely for this show. All right, we are on several radio stations live. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on Twitch, we're on Mixcloud, we are on www.brothercharles.uk. So there's so many places to get us, all over the place. All right, so Twitch is on as well. Hi, just a quick. Oh my Lord, there you go. I've messed up again. Just bear with me, people. Let me see where I've gone wrong. I know I've done something that I shouldn't maybe have done, and I need to do this. Wow. Here we go. Oh man. Okay. We now are live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and all the other websites. Apologies to so much stuff I'm trying to do at once. I'm gonna have to get a PA in to help me out. But yeah, we're all good now. I believe we're all good now, and we are ready to roll. So yeah, Christian dating websites, are they a safe place to find your potential husband or wife? That's what we're asking. Are they a safe place to find your potential husband or wife? And we are gonna open the phone lines. Before we open the phone lines, let's play the all important disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
This group takes no responsibility and will not accept liability for any communication via discussions or other modes of communication from individuals or as a separate entity that causes offence. We do not aim to purposefully generate anything that is intentionally malicious or slanderous. Our aim is not to provide misleading information that could lead to harm of any nature.
Okay. Definitely glad to be here again on another Tuesday's Chatbout talk show. Number to call in on this evening, and every show is 07 534 610 422. All right, once again, 07 534 610 422. Will get you through to us here in the studio. Trusting and praying everything is working A-OK. And we're rearing to go. Phone lines are open, people. Why not use them? All right, good evening to each and every one of you that's on the live. Please share the links. Share the links on your social networks. And let's get the phone lines popping. 07 534 610 422. If the last caller that was trying to call in not too long ago, call back, we would love to have your say. All right?
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
That's the number. Share the links, and share the links again. Remember, we've got a brand new dedicated YouTube channel now for the show. If you are on Facebook, share the link. You are on Twitch, share the link. You're on YouTube, share the link. Even if you're on Twitter, share the link. All right? Instagram, share the link. Let's get the number up on Instagram as well. 07 534 610 422. Christian dating websites. Are they a safe place to find your potential husband or wife? All right? So many of you tried to call in last week and couldn't get through. Tonight is your opportunity to have your say. What say you? Have you experienced being on a Christian dating website? How was the experience? Did you find love? Did you find your husband? Did you find your wife? Did you have a good experience, a bad experience? Was it a freebie?
I would like to interject because I want the conversation to be kind of meaty tonight because I think we need to be real, we need to be open,
absolutely,
and we need to be transparent. And based on one and two conversations I had last week after the show, and some of the things that were shared with me, is that sometimes some of these platforms are used in a way where people are just meeting up to have some type of midnight rendezvous.
Wow.
And it's unfortunate that this is happening, but it's happening to the point where people are finding themselves in situations where they can't get out of. Like, let's say, for example, they've become entangled with not just one person, more than one person. And I think we have to, there is a seriousness to this because the Bible tells us that, when a husband and a wife comes together, the two become one flesh. Yeah. When they consummate that relationship. And I think sometimes, people lack, what would I say, wisdom, and they find themselves in these relationships that they cannot get out of due to that soul tie or that connection. And these are some of the things that are actually happening as a result of people connecting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember last week when one of our callers was sharing that when she'd done a video call with a gentleman, and when she thought the individual would start naked.
Absolutely.
Why would you be doing that? Are you doing that because you want to lure people in? Are you trying to draw people in? Are you trying to show your assets so people can see? But let's just keep let's keep it real. And maybe that's one of the reasons why there's a divide in terms of people's decision in terms of, what would I say, using these online dating websites because of some of these experiences that they've had.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things I've heard as well is like, you know, the questions will be asked. Will you... Some individuals have this this moral standing whereby, well, I'm not going to be having no sexual relationship until I am married. Whereas some individuals want to try before they buy. And when that conversation is taking place, and once, let's say, for example, it could be on both sides, discovers that the person is not budging or they're not going to make the decision to allow themselves to be open in that way, then that discussion or newfound friendship now is as ended, because the person has made the decision to say, well, I'm not going to be having any type of sexual relationship with you.
Yeah.
You know, this is all about, and I think, you know, we need to be reminded, based on what Sarah was saying to us last week about dating. Dating is about collating information. It's not a relationship. It's about getting to know, you know. And I think that there needs to be boundaries and parameters set in place. You know, clear boundaries, but sometimes these boundaries are crossed.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm just trying to stir up people's thoughts to call in and let us have a discussion, because these are the things that are happening as a result of some people, in terms of some people using those sites. These are some of the things that they're experiencing, or these are some of the situations that people are currently in now.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening going out to Brother Edgar from the Brixton Singles Ministry. Good evening, sir. And so many people jumping on, and I know so many people have had experience of using dating websites. If you don't want to personally call in, you can always send a WhatsApp message and I will relay the message anonymously if that's what you choose. All right, but if you'd like to share your experiences, we would love to hear, good or bad. All right, good or bad, we would love to hear.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
What was it like for you? I was saying, was it a freebie? Was it one of these free dating sites, or did you have to pay a subscription? We have heard that the higher success rates comes by the paid subscriptions for some of these sites. A lot of people say, "Oh, it wasn't for me. It didn't work," but they did. They didn't actually do the full. What should I say? They didn't really get too deep involved. They just thought they'd put their name up, put a profile picture up, and love will come their way. Well, as we heard from Dr. Sarah last week, who runs her own agency, or used to, is a consultant in that area, and gives help and advice. You have to put something in to get something out. All right. It just doesn't work. You putting your picture up, or a 20-year-old picture up in some cases, hoping that it's gonna land you a load of potentials. All right. So we want to know, how was it for you? Did you, like our sister Sandra and brother Colin, did you find love? Did you get married? Have we got any great stories that's come out of Christian dating? Let us know.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
People, please share and share again. As I said, we've got a dedicated YouTube channel. So some people are trying to log on to my personal channel, and I've separated the two now. So we've got a dedicated YouTube channel for the show. So if you are on, please share the links. All right, I'm trying to put all the information out there so everybody can jump on. But we need somebody to kick off the phone lines. How is it for you? Give us a call. Yeah. Pastor Owen.
Yeah, bro. Yep, good. Just listening to Minister Joshua there.
Yeah.
Just a couple of thoughts. Just ringing in from last week, just thinking about last week, and which was a very good show. I enjoyed it. But, I think when one decides to go down this road, like any friendship, like any relationship, regardless whether it's online or personal, there is always an element of risk, isn't there?
Absolutely.
In the connection. You can have the greatest link up with someone that some would say, well, it's pure and it's all honest, and it can still go south. It still goes all wrong. And as Joshua says, we got to keep you real and be honest. We've had some of the most wonderful marriages and things that were made in heaven have gone south. This is a risk of relationship. This happens. And I think also you said about the rules. Well, I think we can be clear about the rules when people do any kind of relating to each other, whether it's online or not. I've done a little bit of thinking since last week, because I wasn't really for this. I'm not really for this online thing, but I figure that's how people connect with each other nowadays, especially the younger generations, because a lot of it's done over computers and texts and everything else that people use now. So I'm just saying, if people do put rules in place, we have to remember, and because I heard your Brother Charles mention about common sense and having wisdom.
Absolutely.
But that someone says common sense is not common to all. You see what I mean? So, so when we say, well, we're going to make rules, we have to remember in the back of our mind that there is always the potential that someone wants to break the rule.
Yeah.
And we may keep the rule. We may say, well, we're going to be honorable, but that doesn't make everybody else honorable. So we know that from life. Again, keeping it real. How many people have you met that didn't stay honorable? It happens, and we need to protect ourselves against that. And I smiled when you said the no sex claim. Joshua, the no sex claim. The man got on and showed everything he's got and all this kind of stuff. But when you put these claims out, well, I want a relationship, but there won't be no sex before we get married. And I'm glad for people that do things like that, because at least it shows where the boundaries are. Starts anyway.
Yeah.
But remember, there are some people that see that as a challenge. Wow. Now this is something, it's a challenge. Let me break this thing, and I'm talking from reality, because I know there are many guys I know that, and women as well, but that love to come and get a church girl. And it's another notch, that's the reality, and I'm not saying it's right. Of course it's not right. What I am saying is that happens. And these are the things that before we get involved in this kind of thing, in any relationship, we need to have some boundaries for ourselves. Absolutely. And I think we guys was talking about this after the show last week. The question is, what kind of boundaries do you have for yourself?
That's right.
I mean, you don't need to go to church or read the Bible to know it's not a good idea to meet someone in McDonald's at 12 o'clock at night. But some people may need that. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, as Brother Charles said, sometimes the photograph that goes up sometimes, it may be a 20-year-old photograph.
Misleading.
But the truth of it is, some people see themselves like that.
Yeah.
So even though you may say 20 years old, they actually think they look the same. Stop laughing now. We're not going that road, But people do. People do think that they are still how they looked 20
years ago.
I mean, bro, listen.
I haven't changed. A couple of grades.
25 years ago, bro, I was 6'1", honestly. Can you imagine that now? But it's just not true. We get older, our face changes, but people think that they're still look the same. In their mind, they do. In my mind, I'm still 18. Absolutely. I'm 62 now, but I'm still 18 in my mind. So we have to be careful what we're dealing with, because this is about emotions.
Yeah.
This is about our psyche. Whereas, there's a saying, there's some heads you don't want to be in. They're dangerous places.
Absolutely.
So just some thoughts there from what you guys were just speaking about.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah. So phone lines are open. We need to hear. Let's see. We've got a couple of comments, I believe. Let's have a look. Let's just have a look and see what we've got. Two of my sisters found their spouse online. One is currently engaged and the other is married. 4 years this year with a toddler. The key is being intentional about what you want and using wisdom. And yes, you put the effort into your profile online as it's just like a CV.
Okay.
How about you've been thinking about using a Christian dating site, but you're not sure? What aren't you sure about? Give us a call. Let us know what you're not sure about. What have you heard? Well, I've just told you someone's two sisters, was it? What did I just say? Two sisters? Two of my sisters. Yeah, you just heard me read out. Somebody currently on the show, two of her sisters have found their spouses online. One is engaged, the other has been married for 4 years and has a toddler. So what have you heard about Christian dating websites that you're not sure about, maybe? You've been thinking about using them. You've been told...
Maybe she's just exercising caution.
Maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe they've been told they're not the one.
Yeah.
We don't use them. They're no good. Well, I've just told you, somebody online with us right now on the show, there's two sisters. It worked for them. We had Sandra and Colin, who found each other online, got married. I played at the wedding last year. It worked for them. They were online. They were on the show last week, saying how well it's worked out. What have you heard that's holding you back from using one of these sites? What can you tell us?
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
We would love to hear from you this evening. Don't hold back. Funny but deceiving. What's funny but deceiving? Give us a call. Let us know what funny is but deceiving. We would love to hear from you. People, share the link and share the link again. I know there's so many people trying to find us on the other YouTube channel, which isn't currently live. We've got a brand new YouTube channel dedicated for Chatbout only. All right, so please share the links. All right, why won't you never use a Christian dating website? Why won't you? Let us know. Why won't you? What's the stigma? What's putting you off? We need to know this evening. There were so many of you trying to call in last week. The phone lines are open. And this week's your opportunity to share. So definitely do that if you possibly can. We would love to hear from you.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
Christian dating sites. Let's take this call. Hi, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Brother Charles.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, good night, the rest of the panelists.
Good evening to you.
Hi.
Excellent job.
You was on last week, Joe.
I was on last week, and I had to come back on this week.
Please do. Absolutely, we would love to hear from you.
It was so informative. It really was so informative, and I'm encouraged because I usually have a negative stigma.
Yeah.
There's a negative stigma that comes with online dating.
Yes.
So it for me, it is not for me, but I wouldn't discourage anybody else.
You said it. You said it's not for you.
It's not for me personally, and there different things for different people, different strokes for different folks. What might work for me may not work for someone else.
Okay.
And I think online dating is okay. Like the caller said before, with everything there is pros and cons.
Yes.
And so we have to always exercise wisdom and lead with God. Let God lead us in everything.
Amen.
Because, you know, anything can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And so there are pros and cons in online dating. I've heard good and I've heard bad. So I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing it. But like I said before, it's not for everyone. So for me personally, it's not for me. But, you know, people just got to, you know, before they do anything, just pray about it, and don't waste time with people that are wasting your time, because sometimes even on these sites, by just having conversations, you can tell earlier on, like the brother that called in before, some men or some women are on there just because a Christian man or a Christian woman, it's a fetish and it's another notch under the belt to say.
Big trophy. That's a big trophy.
It's a trophy to say, exactly.
Christian girl, Christian man.
Christian girl, Christian man. You know what I mean? So you've just got to be discerning. And when you discern that someone is there with wrong motives or wrong intentions, you just move on. It doesn't mean that everyone is on there like that. You just move on, don't waste time, and keep pressing and keep trying. Yeah, but I think people shouldn't rule it out. Like one of the panelists says, it's the world we live in now, everything is online, and it's a very viable way of meeting someone, because most people in the streets, they don't, especially in the winter. We know how it is here in England. In the winter, people don't even look at people that much. Everybody is in a hat, in a coat, gloves, scarves. People don't really look at people, but people will go online and have a conversation and meet people. So it's very feasible and it's very doable, you know. So, you know, be encouraged and move forward in faith, and like I said, pray and let God guide you in all things and be discerning. Yeah.
Do you want to give your group a plug?
Oh yes, I am Jasan. People call me Jojo. I am the coordinator of the Brixton Single Adult Ministry, and we meet on Zoom every third Friday to chat about. As a matter of fact, we're meeting on the 17th on Zoom, and we will be talking about church and sex, Christianity and sex, religion and sex, pornography, masturbation, sex toys, everything. When we meet on Zoom, we go into yes, because we talk about things that the church don't talk about.
This is it. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
People.
You're keeping it real, Joe.
We keep it real. We keep it real. There are people who are single, and you know, people who are having illicit sex, people who are masturbating, watching porn, using toys, doing all kind of things. What does the Bible say about it? How do we navigate these issues and these feelings that we have as human beings, as Christians?
Yeah,
that's right.
So, yeah, we can't sweep these things under the rug.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we have to talk about these things.
I'm glad you called in, actually, on a different note. There was something in the group, because I'm privy to be in the group, actually. I'm not single, by the way, but I'm part of the singles group. Thank you, Joe.
I know. You know, we encourage married people to be in there.
Absolutely. But there was something I saw over the last couple of days. Speed dating. There was a speed dating event coming up.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I like it. It's another way of meeting people face to face. It's quick. You sit with someone, you spend 3 minutes, you talk to this person. Because for some people, you can tell, you can have chemistry. You can tell that this is someone worth pursuing or worth having further conversations with.
Within 3 minutes?
In 3 minutes. I can.
Okay.
Not everybody will be able to, but then you may decide that of the 10 people I've spoken to, of the 20 people I've spoken to, I'd like to have more conversations with these 3 in 3 minutes.
Okay. Is that anything? Is it something you're part of the organization, or just something you're helping to promote?
Something I'm helping to promote, because I do network and liaise with other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything?
But what I'd like you to do before I go, I'd like the panelists to put some details in the chat.
Yeah.
In terms of these sites, so that I can put it in the group as well. So if we could put some names of Christian dating websites in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. I think the only one that I was aware of is the one that Dr. Sarah ran. And she was on last week. I think she put her details up last week. I'm going to try and find the details and put them up before the show is over. But yeah, definitely try and do that for you, sis.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
God bless you. Thanks for calling in.
God bless you all.
All right, you take care.
Bless you.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Excellent. Call kicking off the show there. Jojo from the Brixton Singles Ministry. I do know a couple of her co-workers are on the line as well, so maybe they'll like to call in and back what she's saying or add to what she's saying. Can you tell me the name of the Christian dating website? Somebody else is asking.
There's one called Christian Connection.
Christian Connections.
Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle. We're going to try and get some of these names in the chat. Maybe if somebody's listening and they got their hands free at the moment, they can type these in. Christians Mingle. What was it?
Yeah, Christian Connection, Christian Mingle.
Christian Connections. Christian Mingle.
I'm sure there must be others. I don't know.
Okay. People.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
You heard our sister there, Jojo, just mentioned that event coming up as well. Speed dating. Josh, what do you reckon about that? Speed dating for Christians. Well, hold it right there. I'm going to find out what you've got to say about that, but let's take this call. Good evening. Hi, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Sorry.
Hi, good evening. I can hear you now. You got the radio on in the background.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Right, I can hear you loud and clear. How are you doing, sis?
I'm good. My brother. Good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening to the guest. Good evening to your panel as well.
Wonderful.
God bless you all. Bless you.
What would you like to say, sis?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to kind of like my comment, which was somebody I only just jumped on, so I only caught the bit about the picture and the age and that
was that what you was making a comment in relation to? Funny, but this
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you get 50-year-old people putting on pictures when they were 30s or 25.
No, absolutely, and that's why I wanted to call on and just share something, one of my bit of experience.
Yeah,
I said my statement was it's funny, but it's deceiving.
Yes.
So like I'm not against the sites at all, and I think as you know, I think us in terms of if we're pursuing that, I do believe that you should be intentional. And it's faith without works is dead. So you know, prayer alone is not enough. You need to position yourself. Whether that you're male or female, you do need to position yourself if that's what you desire.
Yeah.
You know, you do the work and you position yourself. So You know, I've been on sites before, and I had a particular experience whereby I met a gentleman on there. He's, you know, I did my due diligence in terms of, you know, kind of having a conversation, doing it, you know, looking at his profile and being accountable, speaking to others as well, and just saying, look, this is somebody who I'm speaking to. And, you know, quite soonish we moved on to kind of like, what's that conversation? So it went over to there, and we decided that we were going to meet up. But before then, I mean, I was praying all the way through this, and there was a few things that was kind of like sticking up for me, if you like, red flags. You know, a bit of red flags, and you know, some red flags that was appearing, and I thought, you know, at the same time, not to be sort of judgmental, or, you know, at the same time.
Would you like to elaborate or not on those red flags, just in case somebody else is seeing those flags? Or
things like, I mean, we would talk about things such as, you know, for example, I mean, I questioned like his picture, for example, and I thought, I don't know, I just felt that's what stood out to you, didn't it? When I said it. Yeah, I was just like, there was
60-year-old man putting a 35-year-old picture.
Yeah, so the picture was one, and then, you know, when we moved on to kind of like the WhatsApp call, there was like another kind of picture. Like, it was never like his own picture of himself or anything. And I was like,
he forgot to change his WhatsApp status.
Yeah, I was like, and so it's like, you know, okay, yeah, you've got a face picture of. He was like, no, you know, when we meet up, kind of thing. Then you know, you just see me in person, and likewise, and so, you know, we didn't exchange no photos or anything like that. We talked about things like age. You know, we talked about. He said that he had quite a few different names, you know, but that was because culturally that's how it is. Like
different names. African. How many passports did he have?
But that's one of the things I said, Lord, you know what I mean? Well, go on here, like, you know, because you could have these, you know, culture. Like, for example, like, you know, whether it be a Caribbean or African cultures, they have multiple names. So, you know, and so I didn't, you know, whilst it kind of stuck out, but I, again, tried not to be too judgmental on that, right? So anyway, we decided to meet up, but I was very much, you know, really accountable. So I made sure that I had told, you know, somebody where I was going, you know, the location, the timing, what I was wearing, everything, right? And I arrived at the location. So
you weren't hiding behind a bush.
I got to the actual location. I thought we were going to be at the location. I got there before he did, right? So he was still at the station, right? So when he called, he was at the station. We were in two different locations. Well, not too far from each other, but two different locations. Yeah. And he was like, you know, well, I thought you were going to meet me at the station. I was like, you're a big man, so like, you know, you can just make your way, kind of thing. You know, going to meet me down at the restaurant, which is where we were going. Yeah. But something said to me, let me just walk towards him, but just kind of be on the side. And so I did that. I was on the walk towards him. I stood on the side and started to direct him over the phone to the restaurant, right? So I was like telling him, you know, can you see this? Can you see that? And he was like, yeah. And then I thought, no, this could never be the brother. Like, could never, ever be the brother who. And I'm watching this person close to me, and I'm like, oh, can you see that over there to the left? And he turns his head to the left, and I was like,
this ain't for real. No.
What are you wearing? And he starts describing what he's wearing, and I said, no, Father, no.
What did you actually do in that moment? Did you actually start to direct him back to the station?
No, I didn't. It was one of those situations where I was like, I couldn't believe, and it was almost like I had to think quick on the spot as well, because I didn't know what to do, right?
You know what? Your battery died. You forgot where the restaurant was.
Really died, right?
Yeah, you got abducted. Wow.
I was like, is it really? I was like, you know, and I was trying to picture like the conversations and the person, and I was like, All right. Again,
how could you do that? Yeah.
I was saying to myself, no, don't be too, like, do you know what I mean? Don't
judgmental.
Give everybody, you should give everybody a, you know what I mean, chance.
Yeah.
We did have some really constructive conversations, you
Yeah.
know, and stuff. So anyway, well, when we did meet up, and I was.
You went
I
through.
wasn't,
You went through with the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed by. I wasn't too pleased with the outward appearance, because that's not what I thought. That's not how he presented on the site, right? But as I said, we had conversations over the phone, so there was to a level there was a.
I said, oh, sorry, you just went blank there for a second.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. So, but whilst we were there, one of the things that he did say is that he had been previously married. So he was married, he's divorced and moved on, and he's single and right, okay? But when we were sitting together, he went in to talk about the wife and experiences and all about his past. And I mean, I was so put off.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, and he wasn't making any contact with me, like he wasn't present. So he was just obviously still hurting, still wounded by what he had been through, and felt that this was an opportunity to now just offload to me, right? Maybe a soundboard or something, and took that opportunity to do just that. There was no connection. There was no like other conversations around the table. There was nothing. And to be honest with you, I mean, I came away from that. I mean, I dealt with it, you know, pleasantly to the end and everything else, but I was so disappointed. I came home and I already made up my mind that, you know, I was just going to knock him off and everything else. But I thought I'm going to tell him why, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things is that I've said to him was that I felt that he was deceiving, right? He was deceiving because, A, he had put up a picture of himself that wasn't even himself, right?
It wasn't even him.
It wasn't even... Maybe he thought it was him when he was younger. I don't know. But like he said, like some guy... It looked a bit like him, but it didn't, if you know what I mean. It was very much a very younger model version of him, if it was. Like, I'm telling you, like at least probably 15 years younger, right? On the profile, he had said he was one age, but actually he was 10 years older than that age, right? So that was another thing. Pardon?
No.
Catfish.
Yeah,
catfish with a capital C. Catfish with a capital C, right? So the age thing, the name thing, and the picture thing. Now, the reason why I told him that how I felt about it was not that it was a bad experience for me, not just that it was a bad experience. I felt it was a good experience. However, but I felt like if I had been a woman that wasn't as wise and done, you know, my due diligence in lots of other areas, lots of other ways, that could have been a very different scenario, right? And I felt, for example, if I was a younger woman, right, and he had done that to her, you know, that situation could be very different. So I reported him because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be there and be honest. Pardon?
It's misleading.
It's misleading, exactly. And one of and on the sites, that is one of the rules then, so to speak, you know, that you're supposed to, you know what I mean? You're supposed to give the correct information. Now, we know people are on there giving false information. They're not who they say they are. We know this, right? We can't take it for granted just because it says a Christian dating site that everybody is a Christian, because they're not.
That's right.
That's the truth. Everyone has a motive and an agenda when they're on there. So whilst I say this, like, you know, it hasn't put me off completely from using them, but it did put me off for a very long time for kind of using that as an avenue to meet people. I feel like it's better to meet people in face-to-face, in a social environment, where you can actually see the person and connect with them live. The online thing just leaves so much room for shenanigans like that to happen, and not the deceiving and misrepresentation of, you know, people saying that they're this, they love the Lord and they do that, and it lies, you know. So you know, I mean, I'm just kind of sharing that as an experience too. Like I said, it's not something that I've completely ruled out, but it is, and I do think, you know, if that's something that you want to push anyone out there that wants to kind of give it a chance, but definitely be prayerful.
Absolutely.
Definitely make sure that you have somebody to speak to about that process, you know, for accountability, especially if you are going to meet somebody in person.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a good experience, don't be discouraged. Do you know what I mean? Continue to keep positioning yourself, seeking the Lord, being prayerful, and just know that when that the right person will come. So those are my few words.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience.
You're more than welcome.
God bless you, sis. We will speak again soon. No doubt. All right.
For sure. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye for now. Okay, the phone lines are open.
Interact and call the studio on 07 534 610 422.
Josh, before that caller, we were gonna briefly talk about dating, speed dating. Speed dating. What was your thoughts on that?
You know something? I'm not really too versed in the area of speed dating. I was listening to Jo as she was talking, and obviously, by her definition, it's a 3-minute conversation between two people, and you move on. And she was actually saying that within those 3 minutes, she can somewhat discern the individuals. Let's say, for example, she speaks to 20 people. She can somewhat discern out of those 20 that she would want to continue, have another.
Hold that trail of thought, bro. Hold that trail of thought. Let's take this call. Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Brother Charles.
Good.
It's Jackie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm just listening to the show because I really wanted to. I was actually thinking about trying to arrange a speed dating for Christians myself.
Okay.
And this is basically because I've not even started doing anything or anything like that. It's just that I've only thought about finding a venue. That's it.
Yeah.
But and simply because it's so hard to find a Christian man. I've dated several Christian men, as you know. I've been engaged a few times over the years. And, I've made a decision since I got baptized to be celibate.
Yeah.
So, although I've already had children when I wasn't in the church and all the rest of it.
Yes.
And many years ago, when I first split up from my partner, I was single for like 6 years. And then I decided, right, I want to try and I know the man is supposed to be the pursuer, but I thought I want to try and find a Christian man.
Yeah.
And how can I find a Christian man? So I joined Christian Mingle, but I didn't put my picture up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was looking at the men's profile, and I first of all, I didn't look at their picture. I even looked at people that didn't have a picture. I was more looking about what they wrote about themselves.
Can I ask why you didn't put up a picture?
I didn't want to put up a picture because I feel that I don't want people to choose me because of what I look like. I want people to choose me because of my character.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I know men are very visual. So, And I think a lot of people make judgments about you. Obviously, you need a picture, but I just made a decision because I've been in a position where I feel like sometimes men look at me like I'm a piece of meat rather than a female Christian woman.
Yes.
And so I thought that what I wanted to do is not put up a picture of myself, but form a friendship with a male and then show them my picture.
Yeah.
So first I wanted them to form a bond with my character, not because of what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I did, I looked at some men's profiles and I made contact with 2 men.
Yeah.
But one of them was in America, and I can say now. I mean, we formed a bond, and then I let the video call me, and that's how we got to see what each other looks like. Because I saw his picture, but he didn't know what I looked like.
Right.
Yeah. So when I video called him, that's when he saw what I looked like, and we obviously, he looked just like he looked on the profile, and we formed a firm friendship. He lived in America, and I had no intention of going to live in America, but we're still friends to this day. And honestly, he just reminded me of Solomon. He was so wise.
Wonderful.
He was a godly man, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But he was on the outside.
Distance? Was it just the distance? Just the distance, was it?
It was a distance. It was other things as well. We were, although our friendship and our bond was very good, and he's like my best friend. I love him dearly, and I'm so grateful to God for giving me that friendship. But it just wasn't to be, because, you know, there's certain ways about him that I knew that, you know, I'm a bit, you know, fun-loving, crazy.
Yeah.
It just wasn't quite right. And if I catch you, although he was a wonderful person, if I catch you lying about anything, you know, I detest liars.
Yeah.
So if you lie about anything, especially if it's small, then I think, well, what else have you deceived? What else have you lied about?
That's right.
But because he once told me something, and then unfortunately he hadn't put down the phone, and I heard him on the phone with somebody else saying something that wasn't true.
Oh no!
And you know, I then asked him, "Why did you just tell a lie?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, because blah blah blah." I said, "Well." But then all of a sudden, and in between that, I had a dream that of him, that I dreamt that he was a short man and he was wearing filthy rags, when in reality he's 6'2", very handsome man. He looks like Denzel Washington, and he dresses perfect. So, but I had a dream that he seems like filthy rags. So it's so important to be prayerful, and God will direct your path.
Yeah.
You just have to totally rely upon the Lord to, you know, guide you and speak to you. You know, you have to pray on it, and then have your quiet time, and God will speak to you separately. So I'm not averse to, you know, that was my only experience of, you know, going on a dating website. And it was many, many years ago. It was Christian Mingle that I went on.
Okay.
And I did it in a different way. I didn't put my profile picture up. I was looking myself. I just wanted to do things differently. But it hasn't put me off looking at a Christian website. Maybe I will now, because, you know, I'm single again. But I'm looking for my Boaz. I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a man that's, you know what I mean, as like my father and my earthly father. You know, I'm looking for, you know, what my father's word says a man should be. And, you know what I mean, I know that God's perfected me to be the woman that I need to be, a wife to my husband.
Amen.
Yeah. And so I know exactly what I'm looking for. And if I don't find it, I will just still stay married to the Lord.
Amen.
And I've just come to, you know what I mean?
Can I just interject?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to ask you a question. You said that you're looking for a particular type of man. You know what you're looking for, and I think that it's important that we make our request known unto God in terms of the type of person that we want to be with. Because I know some individuals, they have this dreaded list.
No, I don't have a list. I don't put.
No,
I don't think I have a list. Yeah.
I know some people have dreaded list.
Yeah.
And they say the man has to be this, he has to be this, he has to be this, and if he doesn't meet, because one of the things I sometimes think about is that we are imperfect individuals, and I think sometimes what can happen is that our expectations can be so high that individuals can be dismissed from our, let's say, for example, from our lives. That person could be our potential wife or husband, but because they don't match up to our list, then it's a strict no-no. And I often say to both male and female that the list that you have, do you live up to that very list that you are that you have in terms of you're saying this is the person. I'm not saying that we mustn't have standards. Of course we must have standards. Must be intentional and be prayerful about the type of person that we want to be with. But I think sometimes I just wanted to ask that question about, because I know there's a lot of people out there that has a list. And if that list is not met, then sorry.
I don't think I have a list as such. I mean, my list is not what I think is like what I would call a shallow list. It's not about, you know, what you can do for me, or, you know, you have to be this, or you have to be that, you have to look like this. You know, I don't care what you look like, actually. And a lot of people would look at me and think that I would be caring what they look like. I don't care what you look like. What I care about, do you love God? Do you really love God? Do you have a relationship with the Lord? You know, or can you be my protector, my provider? My list is, can I submit to you and trust you with that submission, with that control? Yeah, because I am your helpmate. I know what I need to be as a Christian woman. I really do. Yeah, I've been spending years single. You know what I mean? Being whole, making myself whole in the Lord, so that I'm ready to be in the right relationship, and I'm not going to settle. You know what I mean? I want a man that loves the Lord. That's my main. If I had a list, that is my list. Because if a man loves the Lord truly, with all his heart, he will be all I need in a man, and that's where it begins and ends, really. And I would like them to be as tall as me. scratch my itch.
There's nothing wrong with short men.
That's so shallow.
Oh, come on,
yeah,
now.
but you know, apart from that, if you love the Lord, you will be the man that I need you to be.
Yeah.
Just because I love the Lord, I will be the woman that you need me to be. And that's simple in terms, really.
Yeah.
I'm just being devil's advocate, because I know that there are bunch of
heaven's advocate, bro.
No, let's say
devil things around here. Heaven's advocate.
Agreed. True.
I just ask these questions because I know that there is a mindset out there. As I said, I mentioned this whole list thing, and sometimes, you know, for our brothers, you know, always reference for my bros. Sometimes a man may, let's say, for example, has been in a relationship before. The relationship has broken down. It can happen on both sides. But I'm just speaking from a male perspective. And he had everything. He had his house, he had his car, he had money. And as a result of the breakup of that particular relationship, he now finds himself in a somewhat impoverished state. But he's a good man, and he's trying to build himself, and he's looking for a potential wife, but maybe he doesn't have certain things in place.
For me, as Brother Charles will vouch for me, because Brother Charles has known me a long time. I've dated someone that is a cleaner, and I said to the Lord, you know, as long as the man loves you, I will date. You know, and he has a job, he knows he has to work. I don't care, Lord, whether he's a cleaner. And what did God bring me? A cleaner. So I was really interested, you know, because I'm a professional woman. I have my house, I have a car, you know, I have it all. God has already provided everything I need. I don't need the man to come and provide me with a car or a house. I already have a house. So I'm open to share my house. What is mine is yours. I'm really you know, in a partnership. Right, and I see myself as I'm my partner's helpmate. I'm here to lift you up, you know, to support you wherever you need supported. But it's a two-way thing, you know. I give. I'm a giver. Yeah, that's how God has made me in every sense of the way. But I need to know that when I need to be lifted up and supported, that you're there too. And unfortunately, this is where a couple of men have fallen down, you know, because I'm a very strong character. So, you know, this is how God has made me. So I need to know that, you know, don't be thinking just because I'm strong that you don't need to still be my Boaz, you know, my strong, you know, husband, because I'm looking to you. You know, I'm here to support you, but also, you know, I'm looking for you to, you know, to be the head of the household. That's how I see my husband.
The thing is, it's just wonderful to hear this from yourselves, because I know that there are many who do not have this type of mindset. So it's just interesting to hear. This is a beautiful thing to hear, and I just commend.
Yeah. And I mean, I even said this to one of my partners. I said that, you know, I want you to be the man of the house. And he said, well, no, we're equal. I said, yes, we are equal. But, you know, ultimately, let's say we had a decision where I wanted to move to Oxford and you wanted to move to Boreham Wood, right? But you felt that God had spoken to you. This is why it's so important for you to have a relationship with God as my husband. If God had said, no, we must move to Boreham Wood, but I really want to move to Oxford, I'm going to trust that the Lord is speaking to you and you know what's best. Although the Lord speaks to me too, I'm going to know, well, my darling, you know, if you truly believe you've spoken to God and, you know, we've prayed on it and you really truly believe we're better in Boreham Wood, let's go to Boreham Wood, my darling. You know, I want to give my husband that. It's not about control over me. It's just that, you know, I want to trust in him the way I trust in the Lord. You know, I want to be able to give everything I have over to my husband, but still know that I am a woman and we are equal. And, you know what I mean? He's to love me like Christ loved the church, and I'm to love him, you know, equally. So, you know, it's about equally, but at the end of the day, the husband is the head of the household. Amen. And I know that may upset some people who think, oh, you know, it's not about control. That's not what love it looks like in Christ's eyes. It's not about control. Right. It's about being submissive and to the Lord ultimately, to our Father who art in heaven. but at the same time, you know, coming together as one, and no one's lording over everyone. I just want to outdo my husband in love, and hopefully he will strive to do the same.
Pastor Owen, you look like you're itching to say something.
Jump in there, Pastor. Jump in there.
No. It sounds really wonderful. I think it's absolutely awesome. You're a successful lady, and I think that's wonderful. I just think that's wonderful. You mentioned you got some children. Have you been married before?
Yeah. No,
Have you been married before?
I only want to be married once. I've never been married. I do have children out of wedlock.
And you didn't bother getting married?
My children are grown. Brother Charles, did you play at my daughter's wedding? I can't remember. Did you?
No. I think that's
no.
I provided some music for your daughter.
Yeah.
You had the children when you weren't in the world, when you were in the world, not in the church. I presume.
Yes, I had my children when I was in the world, not in the church.
There you go.
I got baptized about 9 years ago now, I think, and I chose I said to the Lord, I made a covenant with the Lord that I would not have sex outside of marriage again. And it's funny, but this is a testimony to any ladies out there that think that they need to almost pimp out their bodies. You know what I mean? A man won't want them if they don't have sex. Yeah, I've had more marriage proposals in the last 9 years than I ever had when I was in the world. When I was in the world, I had 2 marriage proposals, and now that I'm holding myself and refusing to sleep with men, you know what I mean? But I've dated and I've had relationships. I've had about 5-6 marriage proposals.
Wow.
So, you don't have to give over your body. Men will respect,
can I just say,
you're holding yourself.
I think it's wonderful what you said now, because I'm just getting to be clear and just hearing what you're saying. Before you got married, you had the children, and you had 2 marriage proposals.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You're an independent lady, because you said that you're a professional. You got your own house, your own car, your own everything. So therefore you're happy to share what you have with someone else, which is wonderful. I think it's wonderful. And then since the last 9 years, you've had 5 marriage proposals, which is
5
wonderful.
or 6. I've actually lost count.
Oh, praise God.
And another thing as well, most marriage proposals were within weeks of knowing me.
Oh, wow.
One was after 2 days, 2 dates.
Wow.
They wanted to marry me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and you said that actually you're not even bothered what the guy looks like.
No. I would like him to be taller than me, but
Yeah, okay. So you're just so loving that. You are so loving. So I'm you're just heaven sent. I mean, for me. If I wasn't married already, I'd be making.
I know it's perfect. I'm not perfect.
She would have had another proposal by now.
I feel like a trooper, and I'm not perfect.
No. I'm just saying you had 5, 6, maybe 10 proposals. And you said, well, I'm not really bothered what it looks like. And I'm just thinking, if I was single, maybe I need to give you a call. Because you sound like I
could have done the Sin of Black thing, but you're taken, Pastor Owen. You're taken.
You sound like the treasure chest that we're all looking for. You really do. So I just got one
I'm sure there's many women out there.
Listen, my sister. Let me just finish what I'm saying. You sound like a treasure chest, honestly. You really do. What you just said is what all us men want to hear, I'm sure. Joshua, you want to hear this, innit? You want to hear this, innit? This is what you want to hear. And you had all these 10 proposals. I've just got one question.
About 6. Why have I got married?
6?
Yeah, about 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you're not. You don't mind as long as he's tall as you. You don't mind if he ain't got no money. You don't mind if he does nothing. He's a cleaner. You're happy with that. You got.
No, it's about a job. He has to have a job.
Yeah. But you still haven't found anyone to fix you. Well, just explain that to me.
Right, okay, so I can go through each and every one, but that would take a while. But basically, what I found that, and I was watching a Christian kind of a sermon that this lady was doing, right? And I think I find that a lot of women, we are I'm speaking for too many women now. I hope that some more ladies are going to come on after me. But, you know, there's more single women in the church than there is men. We know this, yeah. And I think women, we've stayed single for much longer. So we kind of know we're more established. I don't know. I just think that I think women are mentally stronger than men. Yeah. That's why there's more men suicides than there is women. Yeah. A man is more likely to commit suicide than a woman is. So I think because we've had to go through so much as women, you know, there's a lot of single mothers, and we've had to be strong. You know, we've had to raise our children. We've had to go through so much and raise the family, hold down a job, you know, pay the bills, do everything ourselves. And we've done it for so long that it's built us up our strength. Now, sometimes that can come across a bit too strong, and a lot of men can feel intimidated, like they have no place. So we as women, we've got to leave a space for our man, for our possible husband. You know, because sometimes a man can come into the house and feel that they don't have a place, they don't have a position in your house. Now,
but you said that you're quite happy to do that. And so therefore,
I am quite happy to do that. But unfortunately, I'm 53. I'm 53, yeah. So unfortunately, some men I've met, they are insecure. They don't believe that I'm happy to share it. They're constantly questioning me. I was with one of my partners that I was with. You know, he constantly thought that I was going out and having sex. I said, I haven't had sex at this point. It was like 3.5 years. I said, I haven't been intimate with anyone. Why do you think I'm going to be in a relationship and going to be intimate with someone? So he's checking my phone, checking my iPad. You know, and it was just, you know, ridiculous. So at the point, I said, if there's no trust, there's no relationship. So that was one gone. Another one, my sister died, and they just weren't there for me emotionally. You know, so I thought, if I'm going to feel alone in a relationship, I might as well be alone. So that was another one gone. And, you know, I can go through each and every one. So, you know, I'm looking for someone that will give me the love and care and support that I give to my man. And unfortunately, I can't find a man like that right now. I haven't found a man like that. When I do, when I find a man that, you know, will love me and give me the, you know, that protection, that support that my earthly father did, yeah, then I can give everything and hand over to that husband. That's what I'm looking for. So, you know, it's not that I'm fussy. I'm just, you know, but, you know, we do have to have our boundaries, and we have to see if a man's not there mentally, emotionally, you can't marry that person.
Did I hear you just say that you're not looking for a husband now, you're looking for a dad?
No, I'm not looking for a dad.
Some qualities of our father as well.
No, I have a father, but you know, the Bible says that your husband should be a provider and a protector.
But you don't need to provide too much because you've already taken care of that.
No, that's right. I'm not looking. You don't even need to provide for me. God has already provided for me, and I'm already established. So you know, as long as you have a job.
One more question. Could I just ask you one more question? And I promise I won't chill more, because I don't want to sound like I'm.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know, so when you meet someone, this is what you say to them. Listen, I don't need anything from you. I've got everything already. I just need you to provide for me.
No, I don't say that.
Well, here's the thing. If you've already got everything, and you've already got your house, your car, and everything else, and then you're saying, I just want you to be a man. How do I be a man?
No, I don't.
How can I be a man if you've already got everything that you need?
First of all, I don't say that, because obviously that could make the man feel like there's no space for him, there's no room.
No, you may not say the words. No, we've never said the words. Of course, I'm just saying that you know, if you've got all the things that you need, how can I? I'm just wondering, how can I be a husband to you if you've already got all the things you need?
Right. They are material things. They're material things. Right. My husband is not a material possession. My husband completes the circle of what we are. You know, I'm already whole. He should already be whole. We're not coming together to make the other person complete, right? We are just bringing essence and love to one another, and we are. If what I'm looking for is a husband that helps me on my way to heaven. So is he the protector of my salvation? Are we going to build up each other more and more in Christ? Are we going to walk this life together into the next life? Are we going to protect each other in that sense? That's what I'm looking for. It's got nothing to do with what you've got or what I've got. right? It's what's in your heart.
That is my point, though. You see, you see, when you if me and you were going to get married, and you said to me, "I want you to take care of me, I want you to protect me." In my mind, as a man, we think of, well, we got to put a house around you. We got to put food in your cupboard. No. You're saying no, but you're not a man. I'm telling you, this is how we men feel. Because when we're providing for you, when we provide for you, then we feel like we're doing our job. But you said, well, I don't need it. And forgive me, I don't talk too much because we're going off subject here, so forgive me for that. But it just, you know, I suppose there's so much more we could talk about, so I'd love to as well. I really would. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, but the point is, you know, the Christian websites and whatever, I think they're a good idea.
Okay.
So we'll end on that. Okay.
Anyway, as soon as you get all the details for that dating, that what is it, the speed dating event, you let me know.
I would definitely do the speed dating. I would definitely do the speed dating.
All right.
So yeah, I'm up for that for sure. All right. God
Wonderful.
bless.
Speak soon. God bless you. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye, Brother Charles.
Take care. Bye. Good evening, caller.
Say something.
Just stay there, caller. Pastor Owen, what would you like to say?
I was just talking on some of the things that we've just been speaking about, because I write notes, you see, and I don't want us to lose it.
Yeah.
But if a caller's on, we'll wait for the caller if you wish.
All right. Caller, what would you like to say? Good evening.
Good evening, Charles. It's Edgar, Robert Edgar.
Edgar, how you doing? Have you got the radio on in the background, bro?
Yeah, I'm trying to turn that down. Yeah.
Please do if you can. This is Brother Edgar, co-worker with Jojo that called in earlier from the Brixton Singles Ministry. What would you like to say, brother?
Yes, Josh. How you doing, big man?
How you doing, man? How you doing, bro? You good?
Not too bad.
Thank you, man.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
Blessings to you as well. I missed the first part, man. Sorry, I was working at that time. But
no worries.
It's a blessing to see you. I can't wait till you go on tour, man. You can't. This is something special that has not been seen in any of the New Tea or any of the churches in the Caribbean side. Mm-hmm. People just talking open. I think this podcast is more than what it is right now in terms of.
One second. I can't really hear, brother.
I was just going to say that, Brother Edgar, I think he's actually gone. Call back, please, Brother Edgar, but we need your phone to sound really nice and clear so we hear exactly what you're saying. Let's see if this is brother. Brother Edgar, is that you?
Sorry, I just lost you there.
All right, can you just make sure that you've got the mouthpiece close to your
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's a lot better, yeah.
Yeah. The subject matter. We're talking about dating and speed dating.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, with everything there's time and a place for everything. At the end of the day, men extremely in the churches. It's a big problem. And men, if men are going out as a group, they don't show their face. They go with a married couple. A single man will probably go with a married couple. They've been invited there, so and things like that. Yes, there are men doing dating apps, and they're probably looking for the wrong type of girl. They're looking for an image, and some of them do get a buzz off it. In terms of, like, you know, I can't really speak to women in a way that if I was just confronted with them, and so I just do it behind the scenes. Now, the church itself doesn't have a platform for any of this stuff.
No.
You know, again, the biggest village in the church is this single village. It's not the young people. It's the elder people between the ages of, 35, 50, 60. And a lot of them, obviously, we know a lot of them are women.
Yeah.
But for men, there's no teaching, there's no understanding. Ministers don't really want to be flexible in talking about to men in terms of their values and where they should be standing in terms of relationships and stuff like that. And so it will come up now and again. And a lot of guys are watching YouTube and other stuff again. So in terms of, like, dating thingy, it's still a big problem in terms of men actually coming out and saying, look, I'm single and I'm available. And until, to me personally, until our Caribbean church start getting this act together, ain't nothing go on. So we can all talk about it, and ministers can talk the Bible to
I think our brother's in a bad area while his phone is cutting in and out. Let's see if this can get him again.
I just jumped
I think it's my connection. I think it's my connection. I apologise.
Yeah, if you can maybe stand in one place, brother.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
that's excellent where you are.
Yeah. I apologise again. But for me personally, as a man, I'm 55. I'm divorced, and 2 kids. And again, I speak to a lot of guys. I'm not into the dating thing. It's not me. But like I said before, I'm more in a like to be in part of a group. The fellowship is more, to me personally, is a more important thing because you get to meet people and see where their lives are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the dating, like I said before, dating thing can be very difficult because you know, I even missed to say that about meeting at McDonald's and stuff like that at night. I mean, you could meet somebody at McDonald's. It might be an occasional thing, but I just think groups are more important, probably better than the single factor. That the media wants you to be a part of that. I'm not saying the church should be a part of that in a controlled environment. Yes. I mean, these days is more like a social thing. Now, I wouldn't rule anything out. I'll give the option for people to kind of meet. It may be fun. I see George was saying like 3 minutes. Some people, you might just to get out your yard. But man, just to get out your yard and socialise with people then.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's the first step, obviously.
And watch football, go get a beer, you go to work and come home. And I think the socialising thing is so important.
Yeah.
For men in general. Socialising in a group setting. Because men are scared of women. I'm telling you that now. Men are scared. If you've been in a relationship or divorced, men are scared of women because you don't want to be in a position where you're now too forceful. You know, the kind-hearted person, the loving person, all that kind of stuff. They want that kind of person.
Is that actually true? Is that true in a group setting or on a one-to-one setting?
Women will admit that the faults that they have, like I said before. I heard this woman, she's younger than me. I could say a younger woman than me, and I heard about her relationships and how she looked at me and doing it. I didn't miss her. I heard what you're saying about she has everything. A man looking into her life, if he has everything, it will be the first problem he will see. If I come to a woman's yard and she's got a Merc, she's got a really posh house, she's got this and that. What really could I add? You got as a man, you got to overcome all those things. Yeah. If it's the opposite way around, it's different. But when you're looking into someone else's, you got to get past that. If a woman's earning more money than you got to get past that. You say, I'm loving her for herself. I'm loving her for her mind, not her body or anything. Because again, men do look at an image. We got the image in our head. Not what they say. Oh, I don't mind if she's this and this and that. No, you still got the image, yeah, right? Because you looking nice and she ain't looking nice, something's not right. But I'll come back to the thing about the dating thing. The dating thing has to be controlled. Groups that are doing it have to really understand the meaning of it. It can go really bad, right? And you don't want that on your agenda. So, in terms of, go on, sorry.
Question: when you say that the dating needs to be controlled, what do you mean? Because there's two people are trying to. Because I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure in people in terms of the whole dating process. Sometimes in terms of how some single ministries actually do things as it relates to connecting or allowing Christian singles to engage. One of the things I think that can be quite challenging is that coming to meet someone in a church setting. I think sometimes things can be a lot more easier, a lot more relaxed if we are outside of the church.
In public, yeah.
Yeah.
Relaxed, a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say. When the question I'm asking, when you say it needs to be controlled, how controlled are you talking about? Because if two people are trying to get to know each other, and then there's people there watching them, it's like, well, how am I supposed to be myself I'm trying to get to know this female, but then I've got a group of people watching my every move. It's like,
okay.
Control. What do you mean?
All right. So the first problem. Oh, sorry, go on.
If you say accountability,
Yeah.
they need to be accountable to someone, then that's different. But when you say controlled in a controlled environment, can you just explain?
So for instance, I'll give you another example. On a WhatsApp, we got a WhatsApp page which runs, and we've got like a team of people that would watch that WhatsApp page. You got to be careful what you put on the WhatsApp page.
Okay.
Yeah. But one morning, and George's probably listening now. One morning, one of the brothers, he's from Portugal, put something on the WhatsApp page. It was very tasteful, and I caught it first. I didn't say to the brother, take it off. I explained to him, do you think this is right for this type of setting on this forum, on this page? And the brother, take it off quick. People just catching it, and then it gone. Now, I was controlling that page because I believe at the end of the day there are Christian people on this page. Yeah, when we have seminars and things like that, you've got to be aware of these people. Your group of people have got to be aware that certain people might come in and do certain things. So when you're having a dating app, you've got to put these protocols in. You say, listen, this is a controlled environment. This is, oh God, we are Christians. We're Christian brothers and sisters coming together to fellowship, okay? And we don't want no one out of turn, where you could have a gesture where someone could just touch somebody on the elbow, maybe too much. They say something appropriate, too much. You got to say to them at the end of the day, this is a controlled environment where you don't need that to happen, yeah? And that's what I'm thinking about control in terms of our environment. And the church doesn't really, to me personally, I keep saying to myself, I said, ministers, where are your heads in this? You need to really get it, because sometimes I look at some churches, there ain't no men. There's no men in there, and there's no encouragement to get these men together and say, listen, brothers, let's come together. What are the problems? I always say to myself, as a boss, if you can be open with your employees, I mean, you know, you got to separate yourself with your employees and know that you are the boss. But when you're open with your employees, your employees know who you are. Are the ministers knowing your people? Are you knowing the people enough to say that, look, I can see this is a problem. I can be very open and say, look, you know, I can see you doing this kind of thing. Let me support you in this, because I see that is a problem. Why are we having so much women in church? Of course, you know, the link is going to be, they're going to link up somebody else who's not a Christian, and then they fall short of the mark, and then you're turning back on yourself. I think for men doing dating app, there are men out there, they are struggling, and we are not the people really to advertise ourselves so much. But there are men out there advertising for certain women. So again, we have to be very careful. But for the church itself, nothing happening in none of the churches. I don't care what minister come up to me and tell me. Ain't nothing happening. If you have a lot of men and you're having a group and you're saying, what are you doing? Find out what your men are doing. What are these single men are doing? What can we do to support you lot? Because I want to see a church grow when there are men standing strong together in a worship, and you know that you're a single man and there are single women, and you could say, boy, you know, we're gonna have a little dating thing going on. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a little social going on, and we want you to come along and join in with us, and maybe you might find somebody. But you know, if you got a divorced man in there, he ain't gonna show, because there's nothing there for him. And the only thing that will happen, he'll find a club, he'll find a girl from somewhere else, and that's where he's gone, and he's lost it. And I think that's where we need to be. I'm all for the dating thing. I just believe at the end of the day that it needs to be controlled. That's all. Okay.
Brilliant, brother. Thanks for your input this evening. And I'm definitely gonna stay in touch with you and Joe as well. Find out more about your singles ministry and what you have.
Please go on show. Please take this on the road, man. Must.
Okay, we'll look into that. All right, bro. Bless you.
You too.
Thanks for the call.
Okay,
Bye for now. where were we? I think we were talking to you, Josh, about the speed dating before another caller calls in.
Well, the thing is, I will say that I wasn't too, I'm not knowledgeable as it relates to speed dating, but I believe I got a small definition from Joe, who gave us her view as to what speed dating is. Different strokes for different folks. If it works for those individuals, then go ahead with it. But one of the things I wanted to quickly jump on, because I know time is great.
Time is definitely running,
based on one of the callers who called, who was sharing about her experience of going to meet this particular individual.
Yeah.
That turned out to be someone else. I jot some notes down, just like I'm becoming a good administrator like Pastor Uriah. One of the things that jumped out to me is about honesty, is that we really do need to be honest.
Yeah.
I think honesty is very, very, very...
best policy.
It's key. I think sometimes, people doubt themselves in terms of image or how they look, etc., blah, blah, blah. And I think that, I think maybe one of the things that come to mind is the word rejection. So I think that sometimes people, present themselves, they put stuff, because of maybe they're not confident in who they are or how they look.
They're boosting themselves up.
They then portray themselves to be somebody else. But what we need to understand is that at some point, you're going to meet that person, and if you're hiding certain things, time will reveal who you
What's
really
in the
are.
dark always comes to light.
Yeah, Brother Joshua, Brother Josh, can I just chip in here now, because you've taken me back to where I wanted to go. Yeah. I'm glad you did, because you've gone back. That's what we should be doing, because we don't want to miss it. I said earlier about what we put on the CVs, putting the wrong picture up. And I think somebody mentioned, well, we have to put our best foot forward, our best CV. You do, but it has to be true.
Thank you.
Because you did it at work and you gave them a CV with loads of lies on it. What did they do? They fire you.
That's right.
And that's what happens when we meet someone that doesn't look like the CV. We fire them. It's simple. That's the realism of it. I think that one lady was very gracious to actually sit down and have a meal and do whatever. And I thought that was really gracious. But I know many people that said, forget that. I'm not even gonna.
My battery dead long time.
And I hear that. Can I just pick up on Jojo as well?
Yes.
I don't remember Jojo's name because I got a son named Jojo, Josiah. We call him Jojo too. And I love what she's trying to do, because I'm all for it. This real talk. We do it when we're off here. We need to have this conversation. Just as that girl was trying to say, ministers need to have this real talk about the pornography that goes on. I've dealt with so much of these things, and you watch a film and then you want to try this out on your wife. You better understand that's not your wife. We need to be real. We need to be honest and show the congregation. Well, we do understand. We're not. Well, I'm not anyway. I speak for myself. We're not in the clouds. We're here, and I understand the pressures of life. That we all go through. And we need to work together on that. And regarding this thing about speed dating, I smiled when Jojo said it actually, but I kind of I've been doing my own little thinking about this, because I think the one sister said that I wrote it down. Choose me for my character. Let me just tell you this. I don't know if I've got time to be around you that long to find out what your character's like. I could be with somebody 15 years and then see a character flaw that comes up. And that's why we got divorced. You wasn't like that when I married you. I don't know if we, other people, have got that time to spend to get to know your character. But what I'm just saying is number one is, I think Jojo mentioned, we just need to listen to God. Well, I got a question sometimes, are we listening to God or are we listening to the prophet? Or somebody said, you got a blue shirt on, that's the man you're going to... You know how it goes. I'm just wondering, do we need to be thinking about these things? And here's where I'm at now. I'm trying to catch up with the conversation. I don't call it speed dating. In my mind now, I'm thinking, could we have something called the deal breakers? The deal breakers. For argument's sake, you may sound wonderful. You may have a wonderful voice. You may be all beautiful. And then when I see you, it's a deal breaker. I don't care how much you tell me you don't mind what I look like and whatever. It's a deal breaker, man. And it's nothing wrong with you, nothing. It's just not what I want. And maybe we could have some deal breakers. Maybe if we had a conversation in this speed dating, whatever they're doing, I don't know what they're doing. But maybe we could save a lot of heartache if we really had a conversation with each other and said, well, what's your deal breaker? Well, my deal breaker I don't want a woman that's got children already. That may just be it. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Or maybe I don't want someone that's been divorced. These save a lot of heartache. We can still be friends. We can still be great friends. We just heard that on the platform tonight.
Yeah.
We can be friends. We haven't got to throw the person away. We just say it's just not our bag. You know, it's just not where we're at. These are my deal breakers. You know, I asked my wife because, you know, I'm only a short guy. I'm 5'4", and yet I'm 6'6" inside. But you know, I've got to get my wife to see that. My wife saw the 6'6". People see the 5'4". You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just us trying to get this thing, and then all of a sudden you have another skill, and all of a sudden you bring out this other skill. And you say, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that." Because we may have other skills too. Yeah. And I'm just saying, I don't want to throw the friendship away just because I don't like the way you look or the way you talk or the kind of food you eat. I know some people that have just split up because the way someone eats food. Some people like to eat with their hands. They have a habit of eating their hands. I know one lady that said she can't settle with the guy because he doesn't know how to use a knife and fork properly. Well, yeah, maybe we could train on these things. There's so much we could do. But I'm just thinking about the deal breakers. Maybe we could have conversations about what doesn't work for you. Because I tell you, and I'll stop here, just one experience that I had of somebody with a blind date. She said the guy was awesome. He was everything I wanted him to be. But when I met him, he didn't smell good. Deal breaker. And I said, well, couldn't you know, maybe you could have a conversation that, you know, a big grown man, you want to teach him how to wash? But it's a deal breaker. People have their own, what they call them, idiosyncrasies. I have them, you have them. So we could probably have deal breakers where we say, I can't, we could be together, but we'll never get married. Or we can be together, but, you know, we can't go any further. You know, these are as mature Christian people. I hope we can have these kind of conversations. Absolutely. I love you, brother, but, you know, I just don't like a short guy. Well, I know I won't be marrying you, but me and you are best friends. Yeah. And I've got plenty of people around me like that. I'm mature enough to handle that. On the other hand, I've met some that are with big, strapping guys, and I've watched him cry, and I said he cries too much all the time. He's weak. Absolutely. You know, let us look beyond this, because we're looking, I assume we're looking for marriage material, not a one-night stand. That's right. And absolutely. You know, marriage material really isn't like the one-night stand, you know. Some marriage material don't come with six-pack. You know, they come with, you know, honesty and love and, you know, that kind of thing that we've been talking about today. So, you know what, you know, you mentioned this already as well, you know, I didn't want to say anything, but I'll say it now, I might as well. It's chopped up next week, I suppose. But look, you said some women are frightening. Some women are scary, but so are some men. And we have got to be mature now, and we've got to teach the church, and as a church, we need to be able to speak to each other on this level. Yeah. You know, and call people out. I've been talking about this forever. You know, when you lie, we need to tell you, well, you're lying. Stop it. You know, we need to call it out, man. I mean, anyway, I've done it. Sorry, that was my piece anyway. Oh, sorry, just one thing on Edgar. You know, he's talking about control. I was thinking I wouldn't use the word control.
Stay there, caller. Stay there, caller. Carry on, Apostle.
Just the ground rules, making sure the ground rules are firm and clear. Yeah. And we know don't touch nobody, don't put your hand on, you know, all this kind of stuff. You know, no language, no bad language. You know, maybe we could do it that way.
Absolutely.
I'm very interested in some family soccer. I'm very interested in it. Bless you guys.
Nice one. Good evening, caller.
Hi. Good evening.
Hi.
I'm a bit of a late starter here. Just listening in. For myself, listening in. Marriage is for ministry as well when you're a Christian. The scripture says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and gets favor from God. Yeah. So a man has to do the finding as far as I'm concerned. And we as women have to pray for men to be born again of the Spirit and to have a relationship with Christ. A lot of men don't know their purpose. So helping somebody who's not going nowhere, who doesn't have a goal or is not doing anything, is a car without an engine or a battery. So Christian women will have to pray for brothers to come into the kingdom, to come into relationship with Christ first. And another thing what pops up a lot with Christian and dating is the sexual side of things, which obviously we live in the flesh. This is normal. We all have urges. And we all need to be born again and have some form of self-control so we don't get ourselves falling into sin. Because a lot of people say they want to get married, but sometimes it's for not saying everybody's lustful, but sometimes
not for the right reasons.
Now, whether it's for a minute or 2 minutes or hours or whatever, that's not going to make a marriage for a relationship to last.
Absolutely.
That's right. Amen.
There's more than that, and I'm sure many people online have found that out. And like I said, people's bodies change, things change. Men have prostate cancer, they no longer can perform. There's all sorts of things that happen to women and their menopause. So we can't be superficial. Just when you come to certain ages, when you pass in the age of 40, when you're not looking to have children, the relationship and dating, then the dynamics actually change. When you're dating and looking for somebody. And again, like you said, there are deal breakers. Some men don't want women who have children or single parent because they've got to deal with blending families and other aspects of marriage. But my main thing, what I want to say is this. Marriage is supposed to represent Christ in his church.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if we're focused on that and we're dating, saying that we're going to portray that, and we have a tight relationship with God, and there's a triangle effect, you, your partner, and Christ, then it looks good. A lot of marriages don't look good. You know, a lot of marriages are not glorifying the kingdom. And when people are dating, I think someone was telling me that they're dating is just for gathering information. You don't date always thinking, oh, well, this is going to be my husband, like that gentleman said. I always love short men, and I'm a tall lady. I love short men because I love the fact that they've got a lot of guts in them to come. And
Hallelujah! Talk it up. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Sunday, God.
It's exactly what you said. You could be 5 foot, but you're 6'10" inside.
Praise this sister. Preach it. Praise.
Yeah, your character and your spirit. But that is because you got to get to know the individual. If you get to know the spirit of the man,
that's right.
The whole game.
That's right.
And enough for men need a good knocking over too, because men like to be superficial. They're looking at the assets and what they can visually see. This is why they get caught up in pornographic things.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Instead of looking beyond the physical. I know you want people to look good, but you know, if your girl's overweight or your girl needs shaping up, then you take her out on a jog or you help her, feed her good food, you buy her some nice clothes that suit her. So we have to come together. And even like you said, if I might not think you're for me, you might be for my friend. And I think in just normal social circles, you get to see and you get to know people. And I think that's what needs to happen. I don't really like dating. Well, I've never been on one anyway. Dating, whatever.
Sites. Yeah.
Because I think that you can meet organically. I meet guys and people all the time, you know, and I always get to know a person first before I cross them off. You know, and not for me, that might be for somebody else. But then I also tell them, as a woman, my views. My little 16-year-old girl told me this. Because some boys, you know, were talking to her ever. She goes, Mum, you know, the sperm always chases the egg. Yeah? So women allow the man to pursue and come after you, you know. And even how God has done it, it's the way that God does me. When a man sees a woman, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, he must recognize and see he's missing part or the part that's going to complement him in his life. And I do believe, as you said, brothers need to get together. There's a lot of emotional issues and hurts and pain that brothers have, that they need to come together, be vulnerable with one another, you know, and heal. Get real with God. Get real with God. That woman could sister to you. Women, we don't have no problem loving. You guys have the problem loving. That's what he's telling you to love your...
No, I disagree with that.
No, I'm just saying, husband, not the wife.
Hold it down, Josh. We only got 15 minutes.
Here we go again.
That's next week's show, Josh. That's next week's show. Please.
Okay, I'll leave it there. But
sis, you know what? You've said so much in the little time you've had that I think you've covered so much. You don't really need to say no more. What's your name? I don't think I recognise your voice. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Shirley. I'm coming from Wembley.
Big up the Wembley crew, man. Big up the Wembley crew. And you're single, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Well,
look, people. Shirley's single. Check her out, Wembley. Yeah? Shirley, thanks for the call.
Okay,
hope to hear from you again sometime soon. All right, God bless you. Oh man, Josh, what would you like to say? Quickly, quick and fast.
I know that calls are going to come in quickly, but there was something that Shirley did actually touch on.
Yeah.
And she was talking about healing, and that was something that I had written down here.
Yeah.
And it's going back to when the caller called about the experience she had when she met this particular person, and when she was gracious enough to continue.
Yes.
With the date.
The dates, yeah.
And the fact, but what she also highlighted was that this individual began to pour out his heart about his past relationship. And my point is that you should not be dating or looking to date someone if you are still hurting from a past relationship. You need to go through a process of healing and to ensure that, those feelings or whatever you've gone through has been eradicated from your spirit before you start thinking about seeking a potential wife or a partner. And just want to conclude on this in terms of what Brother Edgar was saying, in terms of teaching within the house of God as it relates to singles.
Yeah.
We have to understand that God is about families, God is about marriages. We see from the very outset in the book of Genesis, where God creates man, and then he sees that, man was alone, and then he creates this beautiful woman, and then the two become one flesh. So God is about relationships.
Yes.
And I think that, just hearing Edgar saying that, the church is not doing enough. I'm not saying every church. I do believe that some churches are doing the best that they can, but we have to understand that, God is about family. God is about marriages. God is about relationships. And this is something that is very, very important within the life of church. And we need to be discussing and teaching these things.
Absolutely.
If we have men who come into the house of God who has no, let's say, for example, their role model or their kind of template as it relates to relationship is coming from a worldly perspective, we need to have things in place within the house of God that will teach men how to be men of God. Maybe they say, for example, their father wasn't a good role model, or what they saw their father do, they believe that this is the way that we are to conduct ourselves as men. But what we need to do is bring, teach. Teaching is vitally important. We hear our sisters talking about marriage, and one of the things I've often said is that I believe that marriage is ministry. It's an intimation of the relationship that we have with Jesus Christ. That's why in the book of Ephesians it says that the husband must love, that Christ is the head of the church, and that the husband must love his wife as Christ loved the church. There's a principle, there's a guideline there. So we need to be teaching our men and women. Where are the mothers? The women are supposed to come alongside to be teaching these younger ones, these younger sisters, how to prepare themselves to be wives. And it also should be, especially if you're in a church where you have the leader is of a husband and wife, they should be setting the template. They should be teaching, passing their teachings down to the younger ones, and we're supposed to be seeing the manifestation of marriages within the life of the church. But sometimes I think for some men don't feel like they belong within the house of God. And I think this is something that Edgar actually highlighted. That's why we see so many women. And plus there are other issues. That's not the only issue. Sometimes there is an issue in terms of breakdown of communication between male and females and different mindsets, how we think. And, we could go on forever. But
yeah, it's true. I just, agree. But I think, what happens is, especially with men, working with men, one thing that we've got to embrace is that Christ taught it us, you see. What we call weakness equals strength.
That's right.
And when we say, we need to own up to our vulnerability. I'm just thinking about the woman that said that she went out on the date and the guy's pining over his ex-wife. It's because you tell yourself, it don't bother me, I'm not hurt. Just admit it, I am broken. And God can make you fit again. He did it with David. He can do it with all of us. And I think that's why my ministry, I'm always talking about foundations. When we get these foundations right, and you're right what you're saying is when you're coming to the church, I'm all for teaching people Bible study. It's important. We need to teach people how to pray. That's important. We need to teach people how to worship. Men need to learn how to lift up hands because the scripture said, men lift up your hands. We need to teach them that. Yes, we need to, but we also need to teach them how to make decisions.
Yeah.
We need to walk right. When I'm as a minister, I'm supposed to show them, listen, I don't look at every girl in the church. That's not what, therefore, our eyes is fixed on what God has given us. Same thing goes with our money. We need to show them. Listen, I don't throw my money everywhere. I look after it because, as we said, we're there to protect our family. My children are. That's what I'm talking about. Example. It's not just the what we call the spiritual. Because I've been in some churches, all they do is pray. And nothing wrong with prayer. I'm all for prayer. But then we're going to pray. Now it's going to happen. No. Now we've got to go out and do it. We've got to go out and make something happen. We've got to go. Anyway. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Bless you.
Okay. Let me just... what we got? 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Any comments?
There are comments. Hi, Brother Charles. I tried a Christian dating site and all types of predators are on there. I went on 2 dates. After a few weeks, I lost interest. I highly recommend video calling before arranging to meet up in person. Meet during the daytime and always tell someone where you are going, just in case. We also have... the Bible does not condemn things like online dating. God is still sovereign over your relational life, no matter what course you take to meet your spouse. Even if you try online dating, it's not like you need to trust God any less than you would if you were trying to traditional dating. Let me just have a look again. Trust me, as a single woman, sometimes I cry out to God for a soulmate, one who loves God. A lot of my female friends also do. In God I trust. He should be the center of my relationship. Amen. Okay. Not watching every move, but in a controlling setting or group setting, e.g. speed dating, are not usually held in church. Different venue with coordinators monitoring the settings and providing safety. So glad to hear a man, because the women seem to browbeat the men, and there is so many that make men feel bad and treat men below them. Another one. Why do you think that men are scared of women? A husband that you can walk the walk with and talk the talk with.
Sorry.
It depends on the age of the man. Older men were just taught to provide. That's it. Maybe do a talk on the list and what women are taught to pick in a spouse.
Oh my days.
You know what? Before we forget, I think next week they say it's the day of love. Valentine's Day for some. I think that's what we're going to talk about. The singles.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
Why are there so many single women? What's wrong with you ladies? That might be the topic next week. What's so wrong with you ladies? Why you're all single? Let me try and see if there's any more. Hang on.
I just want to know who. I just want to know who writes these questions. I just want to know who writes these questions. As long as the listeners know, I'm nothing to do with the question.
I know got passed to me with your name on it.
What did someone say?
Tall men we want, not short man. Okay. I say look for the fruit of a person's life and character, not their height. I just added the height bit, by the way. If you're going to meet someone in person, it may be the best idea to take someone with you. Okay. Please tell us the name. Okay, couple of names of the Christian dating websites. Christian Connections, Christian Mingle.
I got some here.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Well, in terms of what came up when I actually done it, I have one here that says christiancaf.com. Maybe that's not UK based. No, it says no, these are all UK based. Christian Connection, as you mentioned, Christian Mingle. There's another one called CDSS. I don't know what that actually stands for. There's another one called Match.
Okay.
eHarmony.
Yeah, can we just make a quick disclaimer of you have these websites, because I'll be honest with you, even though you're calling some of these names, just because Christian at the it,
No, well, the thing is, according to
Google.
According to Google, Christian dating, it says the 9 best Christian dating sites.
According to Google, that's the disclaimer here. So don't hold us to it.
It's not me that's
if the man say he's 40 and he turns out to be 80, it's nothing to do with us. Okay, people, I think we've come down to the last 5 minutes. Is there one more caller? Is there one more quick caller that's been thinking about calling in, but haven't? Harvest is plenty, but the labourers are few. No, we're talking about what's wrong with the women next week. That's what we're talking about. What's wrong with women? Why are there so many single women in the church? We know
Ladies, there's nothing wrong with women. There's nothing wrong with women. Women are wonderful. Okay, let's just get that.
What's wrong with the single women?
Just getting my disclaimer in there. Get my disclaimer. Us struggling at hard work.
Our brother said tonight that the men are scared of the women. That's what he said.
A lady's standard is very high these days. We are not playing. We've been there and done that. Okay. Or maybe call it the single... What's it? Hang on. Or maybe call it the single ladies put a ring on it, lol. Okay. Yeah. It's Valentine's Day next week, 14th of February. We don't do the I don't do the Valentine's thing. I don't know about the rest of you fellas. Every day should be a day. Every day should be I don't like spending, man. No, every day should be a day of love. So yeah.
It's my birthday next week. My sister is Valentine's Day. My other sister is the 13th and mine's the 17th.
Okay, wonderful.
All in 1 week, 1 week.
Wow. I said this last week. All February people are born in February are the best people. My birthday was on Sunday.
Let me try and work.
It is what it is, you know.
Let me try and work this out. 9 months back.
What's that, Brother Charles?
Hold on. October. July. July. Okay, we'll do that next week. We'll do the maths next week. Next week, we are talking about love, singles, the ladies, why there's so many singles in the church. And yeah, we'll just keep it on that next week.
That show's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot topic.
Well, there should be so many people logged in because they ain't going to be out celebrating Valentine's. So.
Oh, gosh. I didn't say that.
Wasn't me.
Oh gosh.
It's all right. I'll tell you, I've got wide shoulders, man. It's all good. Next week we're talking about what's wrong with the single ladies in the church. What's up with all of that? All right. What's that? We've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. What does the Bible say about dating, online dating? Well, online dating wasn't around back then.
The Bible doesn't actually say anything about
online
Christian dating, online dating, or even dating. But what we can draw from the Bible is the principle of God's words in terms of the things that we do, the choices that we make. And I think I mentioned it last week. I said, if we delight ourselves in the Lord, if we put Him first,
it desires the heart,
then He will provide our wants and our needs or whatever we require.
Yeah.
The Bible says we must make our requests known unto God. I think Joe said it.
Seek ye first.
Different stroke for different folks.
Yeah.
If you, I'm not ruling out online dating. This is the way the world is going. It's this technological world that we live in. Yeah. Everything is online now. And if you want to try that, and if it works for you, praise be to God. It's worked for some. It's not for everyone, but just be wise, be prayerful in what you are doing.
Yeah.
And just make sure you're accountable to someone. And just don't trust. There's a saying in the Bible: wheat and tears.
Absolutely.
There's all type of people that go on these sites.
Absolutely.
And not everyone is Christian, and that's a whole other conversation. As it
next week we're dealing with that. We've got seconds left to go. People, join us next week Tuesday. Remember, sign up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the link. Tell everybody about the Chatbout Talk Show Tuesdays, 8 till 10 p.m. We'll be back next week with another hot topic. So God bless you all. Last question: what's wrong with the single men in the church? Well, we're going to talk about the single men as well next week as well. All right. So join us again next week Tuesday, 8 till 10 p.m. It's goodbye from myself.
Goodbye from me. God bless you all. Have a great week.
God bless you guys. Take care. See you next week.
We're out. Good night. God bless.
Peace. Bye.
Latest. Bye.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.